Hi guys, welcome to board.com presentation on Introduction to World of SAP. SAP, as you all may know, it's a German company, stands for Systems, Applications and Products. Maybe you are aware, SAP is the world leader in enterprise applications. When we say enterprise application, it is software and software related service revenues. SAP was founded in 1972 in Wenheim, Germany by 5 ex-IBM engineers. And important thing to note, SAP is delivered to its customers with some of the important standard processes turned on, and there would be many optional processes and features that, depending on your requirement, you may have to turn on and off. Partially that will be the job of a consultant. And SAP, when we say, these are 10,000 plus tables which basically control the way the SAP processes are executed for any enterprise. And very important thing is, which are the SAP products that they have released in the past and now. See, they released in 73 their first system called SAP R1. This was mainly on radio frequency instruments. And then SAP R2 was released on mainframe in 1979. And SAP R3 1.0 was in 1992. SAP ERP ECC 5.0 was in 2004. And the latest one, SAP ERP ECC 6.0 in 2005. So after 2005, based on customers' demand, they stopped releasing the new releases like 5 to 6, 6 to 7. They stopped that. Instead, now they are continuing with releasing the updates or the improvements or the patches as enhancement packages 1, 2, 3. That way they have come up to enhancement package 8 in 2016. And in 2015 they have come up with another product called SAP S4 HANA. But this is pretty new product in the market, so it would definitely take some time to stabilize and make the enterprises to move into S4 HANA. So, but majority of the companies, what they are using is SAP ECC 6.0. Maybe they may have different EHPs, maybe enhancement package 1 or 2 or up to 8, any enhancement package they would be using. But majority of the companies even today are on 6.0. And when we say these enterprise solution, it can be on cloud or it can be on premises. Especially moving forward, S4 HANA would be majorly on cloud, and even if companies wants to have it on premises, yes, that is also a possibility. And one more very important thing to be aware of, there is a technology called NetWeaver. See, this technology from SAP NetWeaver solution was released in 2004. So what is the benefit of this technology? Let us just try to look at it. See, earlier days what was happening was SAP was accessible only on their GUI. It's basically a thick client installation. It's a small piece of software that you have to install it on your PC, from which you can access SAP. And world was moving, maybe around 2000, world was moving towards the browser based solution. So SAP, since it is old development, since SAP is a ABAP based solution, so they were not able to bring in the entire SAP system as it is on the browser. So what they did was, in 2001 SAP acquired an Israeli company, a software company, that had this technology called NetWeaver. Basically this is kind of a middleware which can get connected to SAP as well as any of the other legacy systems, homegrown systems, or even it can be Java based or can be C++ based. Any of these systems can hook up to NetWeaver and it can finally work as a solution for any enterprise. And benefit of this NetWeaver is it was made possible to the companies to access it on the internet, maybe through portal or Adobe Forms or through mobile or even through MS Office. So all these were the possibilities. And it is SAP's integrated technology platform, we call it, because entire business suite what we have today, in the later slides we are going to see that. So all the business suites what SAP has today are based on this platform, that is NetWeaver. Next comes important question. You might be wondering, what are the different GUIs or user interface, graphical user interface that SAP provides for users to access the SAP system. Since it is an enterprise application, many users in the company would want to access SAP for many of their work. Very first, it gives you something called SAP GUI. This is one of the oldest user interface designed by SAP to hook up to SAP server. And then comes a web UI. After this NetWeaver came into picture, they developed this web UI. Maybe you take PLM solution or CRM solution, any of the business solutions, they developed something called web UIs. And then they came up with something called as NWBC, NetWeaver Business Client. This is another platform for basically the user interface. You can hook up to the server of SAP and get the data, or you can process the data. And then comes the latest one, that is SAP's Fiori UI. So using Fiori UI, you can just access SAP through even your mobile, tablet or PC. So that is also a possibility. Now one more interesting thing that we all have to keep in mind is, earlier SAP used to be called as a module based solution. You might have heard of many modules like MM, PP, SD, sales and distribution, materials management, production planning, quality management. There are many more. Now what has happened is, after the NetWeaver, SAP has combined related functionalities together and they have made them into business solutions. It can be our customer relationship management solution, or ERP, enterprise resource planning, or product lifecycle management, or supply chain management, or even supply relationship management, or even the business intelligence. And very important thing is, now these are called as business solutions, not the modules. And then there are some more SAP terms that going forward you all have to know. Usually you would have heard a term called R3 architecture. So what is this R3 architecture? R stands for real-time data processing and 3 stands for, it's a 3-tier architecture. So on the user side there will be a presentation tier. Maybe he may be using any of the UIs what we discussed before, and maybe he may be connecting through internet or intranet or any of the possibilities. And then there is middle tier. That's where the entire business logic or the program of SAP what they have written is sitting there in that particular tier. And then we have the storage tier. That's where the the RDBMS or the database is sitting. It can be Oracle, it can be IBM's DB2, or it can be even their own HANA, or it can be even a Microsoft SQL Server. So any of these database solutions would be there in the storage tier. That's why it is called as 3-tier architecture. And there are some more terms, like you would have heard of something called ABAP. So what is this ABAP? It is a programming language that SAP has developed for developing this business solution called SAP, that is called as ABAP, Advanced Business Application Programming. And you might have heard of another term called BAPI. So these are basically some standard programs or maybe custom programs which are basically used for uploading the data into SAP system. And then one more term, BADI. See, SAP gives you certain functionalities out of the box that you can achieve maybe with out of box customization, but maybe there are some requirements of customers which are really in demand. The customers need these changes, but SAP cannot provide it out of the box. So what they have done is they have built some business add-ins. These are basically the ABAP based enhancements that you can insert into SAP system if there is a specific requirement by that particular enterprise. So that is what is BADI. And what is that they have to offer today to the companies? See, very first product what they have in their shelf to sell is SAP Business One, which is basically for smaller companies. And they have for mid-sized companies, they have something called as SAP All-in-One. And then comes SAP's ECC or S4 HANA. These are mainly for big companies. There is one important point here. So this All-in-One is for mid-sized companies, and please note this is industry specific. So when you buy, let's say for chemical company, you buy all-in-one solution. So you may have to adopt to what SAP has already defined as the process. So you cannot really customize as you would do it in any other solution. So you may have to completely adopt to what SAP has already defined the process. And then comes is ECC or S4 HANA, which is basically for the big companies, and this is highly configurable, customizable, and whatever may be the size of the company, it can handle the data. And one more important thing is when you are going to get into the implementation side of SAP, this term is very important, the server landscape. See, what is the server landscape? When you say SAP, please note it will have three different servers. One is development server, which may again have multiple clients, like maybe Sandbox, Golden, Unit Test. When we say Sandbox, this is basically for exercising the implementation before you do the actual implementation. You may want to try out few things, or you may want to make some trials to know whether if this is going to really work or not. All that you can do it in Sandbox. And Golden, this is a fresh and neat client where actual implementation starts. So whatever you have done in Sandbox is there, you cannot take it to the Golden. So Golden client is the fresh and neat configuration, that is where it starts. And then the data is going to be copied onto Unit Test. There are certain methods with which the basis consultant is going to take this Golden client configurations to Unit Test, and in Unit Test client they would be doing the testing. Maybe it would be most probably the test within the module, not integrated to other modules. If you are trying to implement, let's say, a particular module of document management, so you would be testing within the module whether everything is working fine. And then comes the quality assurance server. Again, it may have multiple clients where actual core team members and other members test the customization. And again, it would have integration test client, and also it may have even the training clients. So integration test means you would be integrating with other modules and checking if I do some activity here in X module, it should trigger something else in Y module, let's say. So you are going to do that testing in integration test client. And training clients are basically meant for training the users of the company where you are implementing SAP, so that they are ready to do the user acceptance test. And then comes the production server, where you would be doing the final hosting of the entire configuration or customization of SAP that you might have done for this company. So this is the last and most refined client where users will work after go live. So that is usually called as production client. And please note, there is another system from SAP called IDES, and it comes with SAP's pre-built model enterprise, which is useful for demo and training purpose. So most of the trainings and demos would happen on IDES because there will be some sample data, sample company, and all the required data what is necessary for demo and training would be there, which is helpful for demo and training purpose. Thanks for your time. We look forward to see you register for this full program on Introduction to SAP World, and thank you very much.